aggressive and take more free throws than them in this series. I think the Nuggets can do that.
Followed by The Blitz. All Denver sports, all day. Altitude Sports Radio 92.5.
Denver Nuggets playoff basketball.
What a game!
Post-game coverage continues now on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5. This is a special edition of In the Paint, live from the top of Section 136 at Ball Arena. Here's Dan Tanner.
Yeah, welcome into the post-game show, everybody. Dan Tanner, Altitude Sports Radio 92.5. Had some technical difficulties here at Ball, so we are on the air. Zoom, twitch.tv/altitude SR is where you can watch and listen to the show there. What a win for the Denver Nuggets, an overtime Game 3 victory as the Nuggets get the 113-104 victory here at Ball Arena. So much to get into on tonight's game. Okay, we'll just start in the first half, and then I definitely want to get into what took place here late in the game and into overtime. So, this might go unnoticed a little bit as a minor moment in the game in the first quarter, but I actually thought it was a really significant moment in this game as far as momentum swings go for both of these teams. So the Thunder get out to a 16-8 start. Aaron Gordon gets a technical less than 5 minutes into the game, thought he got fouled, and then Adelman calls a timeout. Now, SGA, back from the timeout, makes the technical free throw. OKC's up 17-8. Well, after that, this was a moment that in game 2, the Nuggets just let it roll all downhill from that point. But after that moment where the Thunder go up 17-8, the Nuggets went on a quick 8-0 run and made it a 1-point game. So I did think that was a very significant moment in this basketball game, just to quickly snatch the momentum back from Oklahoma City early on in this game so that we didn't see another scenario like we saw a few nights ago in Oklahoma City in game 2, where, this game was game 2, was all but over after the first 6.5 minutes of this game. So I just wanted to point that out as sort of an underlying big moment early on in this game, which was great. I mean, I thought the Nuggets came out with amazing energy and effort from the get-go. They were just missing a lot of shots early on in this game, like open shots. But what kept them in this game in that first quarter was they got to the free throw line 9 times and made 7 of them. So that was great to see. In that first quarter, everybody, Nikola Jokic shoots just 1 of 6 from the field with 5 points, 4 rebounds, and 1 assist. That was Joker's stat line after the end of the first quarter. So to start the second unit was no Nikola Jokic. It was Peyton Watson, Aaron Gordon, Russ, MPJ, and Jamal Murray. That unit played outstanding to start that second quarter. They actually ended up going on a 17-12 run while Nikola Jokic was on the bench. So the second unit is a +5. If you've listened to this show all year, you know that my rule for the second unit, or the non-Jokic minutes, is for the second unit to just try and hold it even at that plus-minus mark. Well, in this game in the second quarter, they were a +5. So awesome stint there from the second unit. That was exciting to see, and they had a pretty good stint to start the fourth quarter as well, but we'll get to that in just a little bit. So, I mean, that was the best run from the Nuggets bench in these playoffs so far. Their offense was humming without Nikola Jokic. As crazy as this sounds, the offense looked better to start the second quarter when Nikola Jokic wasn't on the floor. I don't think I've ever uttered that statement before, but in tonight's case, it was just the truth. And in fact, the first half for Nikola Jokic if we're just being honest here, it was just flat out brutal. I mean, he went into the half shooting 2 for 9 with 8 points, 9 rebounds, 1 assist, and 5 turnovers. Also had a couple early fouls, but he did a good job of staying away from that later on in the game. So the Nuggets are only down by 5 at halftime, and Nikola Jokic had one of the worst halves I've seen him have in forever, probably. I mean, regular season or postseason. I can't remember a half of basketball where Nikola just struggled as much as he did. He just couldn't seem to get it going and find his game. But luckily for the Nuggets, in that first half, Michael Porter Jr. was awesome. He shoots 5 of 6 from the field, 3 3-pointers made, and 15 points at halftime. So what kept the Nuggets in this game was MPJ, the 3-point shooting, and they got to the free throw stripe 7 more times than the Thunder did in that first half. That's what kept them in this game. So with all of that being said, the Nuggets are right in this thing at halftime. Now, in the third quarter, I thought the Nuggets actually played pretty well for the most part in that third quarter. They ended up winning that quarter by 2 points, and they were down by 5 at halftime. So it's by 6 at halftime, excuse me. So it was a 3-point game going into the fourth. But, it was a good quarter overall in that third for the Nuggets. Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray both led the Nuggets with 18 points apiece at the end of the third quarter. Now, again, that second unit starts the fourth quarter, and I thought they had another really good stint. In fact, they were just a +1 in the non-Jokic minutes. Now, Joker only sat for 3.5 minutes. He came back in at the 8:31 marker of that fourth quarter. So overall, they were a +6 in this game. They don't get this thing to overtime without that second unit's +6. So that was awesome to see. Let's bring my guy KJ in here on the conversation, who's back at the shop, who has been leading the charge with me here on In the Paint throughout the season. KJ, how did the Nuggets win this game with one of the least inspiring performances from Nikola Jokic I can remember? How did they do it?
Well, it goes back to the thing that we've been begging for all season. And ultimately, that's they've got to play like a connective unit from when the starters leave to when the bench comes in, from when the bench leaves to when the starters come back. And for the first time all season, I can honestly say this was a complete team win. We're talking about the bench being able to really hold their own and not feel like the bottom's going to fall out, right? And shout out to MPJ, he stepped up, right? And Jamal, he was for the most part consistent tonight. And so just the connective tissue was really there tonight for the Denver Nuggets. And it's not something that we can say often. When we look back on this season, there won't be much evidence that we can look back at to say, hey, these are games that are considered complete games. Tonight was one of those, and I am just super proud of the bench for what they were able to do, because it took the pressure off of Nikola Jokic. And at the end of the day, that's all we've been asking for, is in the moments where Nikola's not Superman, can he at least, can he feel like he can trust the guys around him, man? It's just he hasn't always felt that way,
Yeah, I was thinking about that, KJ, during the game, and that's a great point you bring up. Like, for once, Nikola Jokic gets picked up by the others. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, what do you know?
I mean, like, how long have we been begging for that? You know what I'm saying? Now, Joker's just been so damn good and consistent that, this team hasn't really been in that position a whole lot, but it was really good to see that when your best player is struggling like he was, especially in the first half. I thought he picked it up a little in the second half. He did go 0 for 10 from 3, but I thought he picked it up as far as around the rim in the second half. But it was so cool to see him struggle, but be picked up by the other guys. Like, that's just something we really don't see a whole lot with this team. So that was absolutely outstanding. Jamal Murray, KJ, 27 points. I thought he was really good tonight. And Michael Porter Jr., man. I mean, what a freaking performance from MPJ. After game 2, I was talking about, or at least floating the idea, should the Nuggets bring in Michael off the bench and start Peyton Watson? Because the way he looked in game 2, this isn't me just saying, hey, he's struggling, get him out of there. It's because he's hurt. And in game 2, it really, for whatever reason, seemed like that shoulder was really bothering him. And I get it. Like, the whole team struggled in that game, but Michael just didn't look right. Well, David Adelman knows better than me, obviously, because he was absolutely outstanding tonight. I mean, he hit his first 5 shots. He hit his first 4 3-pointers, went 5 of 6 from beyond the arc, and finished with 21 points. KJ, we've talked about this. In these playoffs, I said if Michael can get you 15 points a night, the Nuggets have a really good chance of winning basketball games. If he gets you 21, it's almost a lock that this team is going to win. What did you think of MPJ's performance tonight?
Well, I guess going back to what you just said a few minutes ago, I think Jamal and MPJ were both really good tonight. But we'll start with MPJ here. MPJ was absolutely fantastic. I mean, his demeanor from the beginning, as you just noted there, Dan, was a sign that the Nuggets were getting ready to do what the Nuggets do, and you could just feel the energy. You could just feel like their passion from the beginning. The way he was shooting, his rebounding. He actually halfway competed on defense tonight. He didn't get burnt as the role man, as often as he usually does. And it's just like little things that you saw from MPJ. You just saw he was mentally, physically, and emotionally engaged tonight in a way that he just usually isn't. And I know it frustrates Nuggets Nation, just like it frustrates them in regards to why Jamal Murray doesn't buy in as often as he should. And I can also understand their frustrations because it's like, at the end of the day, if you're the Denver Nuggets and you know that you could potentially produce this game in and game out, and Nuggets Nation also knows this, then it's kind of like, why aren't we? And so you flip that to, how did they get to where they were tonight? Well, the simple question is, I think the simple answer is, should I say, they understood they had to kind of pick up Nikola, but in games where they don't have to pick up Nikola, what does this look like? Are they still as engaged as they were tonight? And I'm intrigued to see how that looks as the series continues to go along here.
A lot of people were talking about Joker's stat line at halftime, and rightfully so. It was just so odd to see him struggle the way he did, because we're just not used to seeing that from Nikola Jokic. But SGA was only 2 of 8 with 5 points at halftime. I thought the Nuggets did an outstanding job on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander tonight. KJ, it was really funny. So about the free throw merchant chant with SGA, right? And then the Thunder crowd tried to do it to Joker, which was just ridiculous because Nikola Jokic is anything but a free throw merchant. But it was funny tonight. Shai got to one of the times he got to the line, the crowd tried to get the chant going. It picked up a little bit of steam, and then it kind of died out. And I'm like, okay, the next time he gets there, it's going to be out throughout the whole arena. He didn't get to the line again. Like, he didn't get to the line enough tonight for the crowd to even chant that, which was really funny to see. But man, I mean, Christian Brown on SGA, he was matched up on him one-on-one quite a bit tonight. Now, OKC was trying to switch it, and they did it successfully a couple of times to get Jamal Murray matched up on SGA. But I thought even when they were able to get the switch from Christian to Jamal guarding Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, I thought Jamal Murray did a pretty good job on SGA too. So that was really cool to see both of your guards being effective at guarding the best pure scorer in the game. I thought that was absolutely outstanding. All right, KJ, let's do this. We're going to take a quick timeout. When we come back, we will detail what we saw in overtime, which the Nuggets absolutely dominated. And how do the Nuggets get a win on Sunday to try and go up 3-1 in this series? You're listening to In the Paint right here on Altitude Sports Radio. 113 to 104 is your final. Welcome back to In the Paint right here on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5. Dan Tanner here live at Ball Arena, where the Nuggets get the Game 3 victory over the Oklahoma City Thunder and take a 2-1 lead in this series. I got to tell you, everybody, after that Game 2, I didn't lose hope. And I did say that I predicted the Nuggets were going to win this series in 6 games. And that's still my prediction. But Game 2 looked – it wasn't just a blowout. It was a bludgeoning. And the Nuggets just seemed to look disinterested in that game. But I got to tell you, the way the Nuggets started this game tonight with the energy and the effort that they displayed, that was very impressive. Very impressive from this team. And a lot of this talk surrounding the Denver Nuggets in this postseason has been the lack of rest that this team has had, and especially going into this series after a tough, battle-tested 7-game series against the LA Clippers. OKC sweeps the Memphis Grizzlies and has 9 days off before the start of this series. The fact that the Denver Nuggets were able to come out with the energy and the effort that they did tonight was absolutely incredible. I mean, that was really, really cool to see. Now, when I predicted the Nuggets to win this series, I did so because I said that the Nuggets' experience will really be to their advantage. And look at what happened in Game 1 and look at what happened tonight in Game 3. Both of them were close games. The Nuggets have a massive advantage over a young, inexperienced Oklahoma City Thunder team as far as playoff experience goes. And when they're in close games, the Nuggets have a massive advantage, and we've seen them come out on top in 2 of the 3 games, 2 of which were very close down to the wire. Now, Game 2 was a blowout, and that's what Oklahoma City is used to doing. They only had 8 close games in the regular season, everybody. That's it. Just 8 of them. I mean, it seemed like the Nuggets had close games every single night during the regular season. Each team had a blowout in the first round against the Clippers. But other than that, those were all close games. But this is what this team is able to do. And in the last 5 minutes and into overtime, I thought the Nuggets absolutely dominated this game. So in that overtime, the Nuggets start on a 7-0 run. I mean, this thing was basically all but over. And there was still like 3 minutes left to go in overtime. And you could just tell, I was sitting up here in the press box like, well, this thing's over. And it was. I mean, the Nuggets only allowed 2 points in overtime against the best regular season team in the NBA. One of the most prolific offenses in the NBA, and they give up 2 points in overtime. I mean, that was absolutely incredible. And with all this being said, this is with your best player going 0 for 10 from 3, shooting 8 of 25 from the field overall. Now, when you look at the end of the day, when you look at Joker's stat line, I mean, he still finished with 20 points. It's not bad. 16 rebounds and 6 assists. Did have 8 turnovers. Got to cut those down. Got to find a way to cut those down, Joker. But at the end of the day, their experience shined through. And that's exactly why I predicted the Denver Nuggets to win this series. So, really cool stuff. The Champ Mazda text line is wide open for you, 303-504-0925. If you want to call into the show, KJ, we can take some callers. 303-504-0925 if you want to weigh in on just an outstanding basketball game and an outstanding win for the Denver Nuggets tonight. How about Aaron Gordon? Is there a more clutch player in Nuggets history than AG? Hits the game winner in Game 1, hits the corner 3 to tie it up and send this thing to overtime in Game number 3. I mean, this dude is – Adelman said it so well, and it's so true. He really is the heart and soul of this basketball team. And he comes through in the clutch. I mean, he was 7 of 11 tonight, shooting
4 of 6 from 3. 22 points. He was a plus 15. That led the team, by the way. 8 rebounds, 5 assists, a steal, only 1 turnover. I mean, this guy was everywhere. Aaron Gordon has been a breath of fresh air for this team in the playoffs. And I tell you what, I don't know what the health situation is with that calf that was bugging him all season long, but he sure looks like he's the healthiest he's been at any point in the season. I mean, that was absolutely incredible stuff. Also incredible stuff from Michael Porter Jr. Really, I mean, 4 of the 5 starters scored 20 points or more, and Christian Braun had 8. I actually did think Christian Braun played pretty well tonight. He hit some timely threes for the Nuggets and played really good defense on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I mean, that was awesome to see. He's not having the offensive output that you would expect from CB, but honestly, the way he's defending one-on-one right now, that's what Christian Braun, at least at this stage in his career, is out there to do. He's out there to defend one-on-one, be a stout defender, and hit timely shots. And score in transition, but the transition buckets are just limited in the playoffs. So that is, I've talked about this before, that's one of the things that has been, a concern of mine in regards to Christian Braun in these playoffs is the transition game. It's still there. It's just not as prevalent because playoff basketball is just more of a half-court sort of slug-it-out type of basketball. But I think Christian's done a good job of sort of adjusting to that, and he's looking for his outside shots. I mean, he hit 2 threes tonight. Okay, that's all you need from Christian. Just a couple threes a game. You'll take that. That's all you need from him, especially when he's D'ing up SGA, the best pure scorer in the game, like he was tonight. So what a win for the Nuggets. I mean, the energy Russ brought tonight, too, was outstanding. He didn't have as prolific of an offensive scoring game as he has so far in the other 2 games in this series, but I thought the tenacity and the energy and the effort he brought tonight was infectious for this team. He actually only ended up playing 22 minutes, which was a little surprising to me. I thought Russ would be closer to the 30-minute mark, but the Nuggets just were rolling with the starting 5 tonight. I mean, all of the starters played massive minutes. Jamal played 48 minutes. CB played 43. Joker played 44. MPJ, with a bum shoulder, played 42 minutes. How about that? And then Aaron Gordon, same thing, 46 minutes. I mean, absolutely incredible stuff. So 303-504-0925.
And Dan, we actually have a caller whenever you get a chance.
Okay, yeah, KJ, go ahead and introduce the caller. We'll take a caller, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. From the Ramos Law Hotline, we have Jay.
Jay, welcome. Jay, welcome to In the Paint,
guys?
man. What'd you think of the game?
Amazing game. Great to see the Nuggets finally pull it off again.
All right, Jay, what did you want to mention here on In the Paint?
Well, Dan and KJ, I'm huge fans of you guys. I listen to you guys all the time, watch you guys on YouTube every day. I just want to say you guys do a great job. I'm an aspiring broadcaster myself, so I'd love to pick your brains more later. But I just wanted to say it was really nice to see MPJ just put his body on the line with one arm, dude. When he wrestled that ball and tried to go for that and got that jump ball, and then he did that little tip on the jump ball, and just seeing so much effort out of him, when there's so much doubt, in a lot of our eyes. And I know you guys were mentioning earlier that you thought that he was gonna, he tends to bounce back, and he did, and it was crazy to see so much effort out of someone who's literally half of a person. And obviously the clutchness of Gordon was so good to see. And I just wanted to say shout out MPJ for just putting it all on the line for us tonight.
All right, appreciate the call, Jay. Yeah, I mean, that's so well said, and a good call there from our guy Jay. MPJ, look, KJ, I've talked about this throughout these playoffs, and look, Michael's had some stinkers in these playoffs, okay? Let's not get that twisted, but the toughness this dude is showing everybody playing through that shoulder injury, I don't think should go overlooked. This guy is powering through. And you know, Tyler Columbus talked about he had the same shoulder injury that Michael has. Tyler, according to him, said that shoulder injury is extremely painful. So, you know, after game 3 against the Clippers, KJ, MPJ said his shoulder was 20 to 30%. He couldn't lift his arm above his head. And he's out there diving for loose balls tonight, going up aggressively for rebounds, literally one-handed. I'll tell you this. I don't think MPJ's ever been labeled as soft, and I don't want to put that on him. But for anybody who wished Michael was, you know, a bit tougher in certain aspects of his game, there's no doubt about his toughness after these playoffs, man. I mean, he has been absolutely special.
No, I agree 1,000%. And that's what makes MPJ is there in moments where you don't expect him to rise up. That's when he rises up. That's when he comes to the rescue. And I know it's hard for us, like, in the flesh to accept the fact that, like, MPJ is going to be kind of a roller coaster. But at the end of the day, those highs come in moments where you really need them. And his toughness, his desire to win, like, you can never question that. You can question, you know, his injury proneness if you choose to. You can question why isn't he more consistent shooting the ball. Sure, those types of things. But what's inside of him here in his heart and what's inside of him up here in his head, I don't think you can ever question those moments, because those moments when that roller coaster's on the way up, you can feel the momentum of, like, a series. You can feel the momentum of a winning streak. You know, you can feel it just on the hinge of what MPJ is doing and how he's feeling in that moment. So to say that his impact would, like, is not as meaningful, if there's anybody who believes that, I would say slow your roll, because at the end of the day, like, he has shown us time and time again that he's willing to fight through things off the court and on the court. And we've got to kind of keep the whole bigger picture in mind when it comes to Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah, great point. And like you said, for anybody questioning that whenever, I mean, you don't need to guess anymore that dude's heart or what's going on in his head, because he's showing us on the court. And he's showing us by playing in these games. And like I said, the dude played 42 minutes tonight, KJ. 42 minutes with a bum shoulder. Every time he goes up for a rebound, he's going up to get it one-handed. You know, that was one of the reasons after game 2 I was questioning starting him. I want to make this clear. I was not suggesting to bench Michael Porter Jr. I was suggesting to bring him off the bench. So I just want to make sure everybody's clear on that, okay? I never said to bench him. I said I wonder if Adelman should bring him off the bench and start Peyton Watson. Because after that Game 2 performance, it wasn't just that he struggled. It's that he looked like that shoulder was really limiting him to, you know, to what he could do on the court. So that's kind of what my reasoning for that was. But I credit David Adelman, man. Like, he stuck with his guy, and it paid off big time, because the Nuggets don't win this game without Michael Porter Jr.'s performance. I mean, how about MPJ stepping up, KJ, going 5 of 6 from 3 in a game where Joker goes 0 for 10? If Michael has another off shooting night, the Nuggets do not win this basketball game, period. So for him to do that in a game like tonight where Nikola Jokic had probably his worst playoff game in his career, honestly, I would imagine that, it is really special. And like I said earlier, man, how amazing is Nikola Jokic when he goes for 20 points, 16 rebounds, and 6 assists, and I'm sitting up here like a jackwagon saying it was his worst playoff game he's ever had. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it was. I mean, especially the first half. Like, he still struggled shooting the 3 in the second half, and, you know, I was surprised he kept going for it, but he did. But he definitely found ways to get to the rim, get to the line, and, you know, that's what great players do, man. Like, Joker, for as bad as he was for the majority of this game, okay, let's just be honest, he still found a way to make a positive impact on this game. I mean, pulling down 16 rebounds in a game where you're struggling shooting the basketball, those are things that great players can do even when they're struggling. That's what I always I loved Jason Kidd for, was, when Jason Kidd was struggling scoring, he was still positively affecting the game in other ways. Now, what was concerning to me early on, other than the shooting, KJ, was the fact that Joker, what do you have, 1 assist at halftime? So I'm sitting up here
it was like one or two, I think.
Yeah, it was 1 or 2, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like in a game where Joker is struggling this mightily shooting the basketball or scoring the basketball, typically we'll see those assist numbers pretty high. Well, that wasn't the case tonight, and what makes it even weirder is the fact that, Michael was shooting the ball so well in that first half, so was Aaron Gordon. Jamal hit some big shots, and Christian, actually. To start the game, they were missing open shots, but as the first half went on, Michael started heating up. That was what was so weird about Nikola not having the assist numbers up. But man, I mean, if I were to tell you, KJ, before this game started, Nikola Jokic was going to shoot 8 for 25 from the field and go 0 for 10 from 3, and they won the game, would you have believed me?
No, I wouldn't have believed you. I probably would have told you. I would have asked the question, how much did they lose by? That probably would literally be the next words out of my mouth, which
right.
is not
Was
good.
it another game too?
Right, exactly. That's not a good way to think, but it's just the God's honest truth, Dan, because
of course
we watched this team all season. We know where we know the pulse of this team, and so we know what certain things mean in the grand scheme of things. Of like, if there's one guy who's off or one guy who should be on who is off, you can kind of get a feel of like, okay, all right, things probably didn't go the way we probably expected it to. Before I hand it back to you, Dan, let's head back out to the Ramos Law Hotline, and let's bring in Adam, who wants to join in on the conversation and talk about MPJ. Adam, what's going on, man?
Hey, guys. Hey,
Adam, what's on your mind, bro?
Hey, you know what we're missing when it comes to one thing you left out about MPJ? Was, man, this dude was diving on here's a guy with busted up shoulder and that was diving on the floor for balls. You know what I mean? We're talking about toughness, you know what I mean? Like, he talked about selling out. The dude sold out all night. Like I said, I want to add that thing. I mean, that, it wasn't a rebound. It wasn't, but this guy's all over the floor, risking hurting himself worse, you know what I mean? And it's like, so I think he made a difference in the game.
Adam, appreciate the call. Thank you. To be fair, and you're right, Adam. To be fair, KJ did bring that up a little bit ago, but that's okay. That's okay, because it was such an awesome performance from Michael Porter Jr. that it's worth being said again. So no harm, no foul there. Yeah, like KJ said earlier, I mean, Michael was diving for loose balls, all that stuff. For a dude with a hurt shoulder, he had a couple of hard falls tonight. Not necessarily just diving for loose balls, which he did. But, man, the Thunder were being physical with him. That's been one of Michael's knocks in the postseason, is that when he goes up against physical teams or teams try to get physical with him, he tends to shrink. Like, that's why he was so good against the Lakers, because the Lakers aren't a physical basketball team, and he thrived in that environment. Now, when they go up against more physical teams, a team like Minnesota, like we saw last year, he's not as effective. But, man, I'll tell you what, I thought the Oklahoma City Thunder were doing everything they could tonight to try to be as physical as they possibly could be with the Denver Nuggets, not just with Michael Porter Jr., with everybody. And the Nuggets, what was so cool, KJ, was I was sitting up here saying, like, oh, they're trying to get physical with them, but the Nuggets weren't phased at all. I mean, you could just tell that they're like, oh, yeah, we know how to work our way through this. Like, we've been here before many times. And they did not let that phase them whatsoever. And, again, it goes back to kind of my initial point of why I think the Nuggets, why I picked them to win this series, is because of that experience. and their ability to handle playoff-style physical basketball. So that was really cool to see. All right, we're going to hit a quick timeout. When we come back, my player of the game, Michael Porter Jr., spoke to the media. We'll hear that in just a bit. Make sure to lock in your 4-game pick'em plan for the 2025-26 season, starting at just $100. Choose your games and seats once the schedule drops in August. Save on fees and get 2025 playoff priority access. Secure your plan today and don't miss the biggest moments at Ball Arena. Visit nuggets.com/pick'em to purchase. Michael Porter Jr., we'll hear from him coming up next right here on In the Paint. Become a 2025-26 Nuggets season ticket member and enjoy exclusive benefits like playoff presale access. Lock in your seats today and experience every moment of Mile High basketball. Visit nuggets.com to purchase. Welcome back to In the Paint right here on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5. The Nuggets get a thrilling 113-104 overtime victory over the Oklahoma City Thunder, in which a game where Nikola Jokic, in my opinion, had his worst performance in the postseason that I can remember, but the Nuggets still find a way to get the win because of Jamal Murray and Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter Jr.'s performances tonight. They were absolutely outstanding and helped pick up the Joker. It's usually the Joker picking up his guys. Now tonight it was the other guys picking up Nikola Jokic, so that was awesome to see. Let's go ahead and bring in D-Mac into the conversation, who is downstairs. He just heard from David Adelman and Michael Porter Jr. D-Mac, thoughts on the game?
Yeah,
What'd you hear in the presser? How was it?
It was good, Dan. Nikola Jokic in the locker room said he was the worst player on the court today.
He kind of was.
He was, but Adelman pointed out, well, what were the numbers? 20, 16, and 6, something like that.
Right.
I mean, like he was sarcastic, what awful NBA numbers. But I mean, dude, it was brutal from 3. What was it, 0 for 10, I think, at the end of the day.
0 for 10, yeah.
Listen, they won a game with Jokic having a subpar game, which is it's incredible, frankly. Wouldn't that have been amazing if he hit that last shot, though, after the terrible night? If he had hit that shot in regulation, wouldn't that have been incredible?
I thought for sure that was going in, just because it would have felt so fitting that it would have made sense. But D-Mac, KJ and I were just talking about, and I think we've had this conversation too. Man, I got to tell you, Michael Porter Jr., he is showing unbelievable grit and toughness and heart in this series that I didn't really know he had in him, to be quite honest with you. But everyone knows now what's inside of Michael Porter Jr.'s heart, because this dude was balling tonight. He was diving for loose balls on the floor. What else can you say about what he's done in these playoffs? It's been amazing.
Yeah, I asked him after the game about his mental approach to things, because physically he said unless he gets hit the same way on his shoulder, he really doesn't feel like it can get any worse, although it's getting better much more slowly. So I asked him about the mental approach to it, and he just says he's getting a lot of encouragement from his teammates and his coaches, and there's something about not thinking too deeply too, Dan, seriously. Like, you just can't overthink it. You just got to go out there and do it, and hopefully that muscle memory matters. And, he is not, there's hurt and then there's injured, right? Like, there's a difference. And he's got an injury that he can play through. So you got to, jersey on. You got to play through the best you can. And he was spectacular tonight. Spectacular, absolutely spectacular. They couldn't have won the game. Clearly, they couldn't have won the game without him.
D-Mac, Christian Braun, he hasn't been, super productive offensively in this series so far for the Nuggets. And we've talked about this too. Like, the game slows down in the playoffs. It becomes kind of grinded out half-court offenses during this time of year. So the transition game is taken away, and that's where he's so effective. But I got to tell you, man, the defense he played tonight on SGA, I mean, he was matched up on him a lot one-on-one.
Yeah.
OKC did try to switch a couple of times to get Jamal matched up on SGA, which they were able to do a couple of times. I thought Jamal actually did a pretty good job on SGA as well. But everybody was talking about the Joker at halftime and his stat line. D-Mac, SGA was 2 for 8 with 5 points at halftime. He had a worse half than Joker did.
Yeah, you can't sleep on what they did with SGA. And Eilman talked about that too, like how tough defensively they played on him and what a difference that made. And Jalen Williams, the guy who scored Jalen Williams, was fantastic, obviously. But if you're going to get beat, by either of the Jalen Williams, what?
I call him Cody's brother. Cody's brother. That's how I can differentiate the two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, it was pretty spectacular. And it was just chip away, hang in there, chip away. And then they went on that 7-0 run in overtime, right? And that felt like it was over. And listen, we would be idiotic to not talk about Aaron Gordon hitting another unbelievably clutch three that gave them even a chance to win this game. And that's 3 games that AG has hit just massive clutch buckets late in games. It's really incredible. It's amazing. Good for AG.
Yeah, what's so cool about that, D-Mac, and KJ and I were talking about this earlier, just how clutch Aaron Gordon is. Over this offseason, there were a lot of reports coming out that Aaron Gordon spent massive amounts of time in his gym. He has a gym in his house working on his shot. And he shoots the highest three-point percentage of his career during the regular season. He shoots the highest free throw percentage of his career in the regular season. And now we're seeing it not only translate into the playoffs, but him working on his shot over last summer, it's paying off, winning this team games in the postseason. So just to see the work he put in over the summer last year, paying off right now here on now it's May 10th, it's just incredible to see a guy work on something. And not only does he improve in the regular season, but it's helping the Nuggets win games against a really good Oklahoma City Thunder team in the playoffs.
Yeah, we should be more specific too, Dan. He didn't just put a basketball court in his house. He bought a warehouse and built a clubhouse in the warehouse that you could easily live in, park multiple cars in, and has got like a 3/4 basketball court in, which is like, man, talk about like an adult playground, right? Like if you had all the money in the world, that sort of thing. So he can actually, live in his warehouse. It's awesome. Yeah. And it goes to the dedication that he has to be better. And boy, is it paying off. I mean, unbelievable. So now you got a team, Dan, that's up 2-1, and it is a quick turnaround till Mother's Day. So will the real Nuggets team please stand up? What's it going to be? I mean, is it and these are big minutes tonight. These are really big minutes, and you had to have this one. So do you see a team that's like, well, we got to split again, we're good? Or do you see a team that's going to throw down the hammer on Mother's Day and try to take advantage of this really, really good Thunder team?
Yeah, great question. I think the Nuggets experience, the fact that they're at home, they're at least going to go into the game with the mindset of let's throw the hammer down. Because if they win on Sunday, man, they've got an unbelievable chance of winning this series. So, D-Mac, great stuff. We've got Mike Sanford on the line, so I want to get to Mike, and we're going to play Michael Porter Jr. that you just got done recording down in the press room. So, D, great stuff as always, man. Thank you.
Sounds good, guys. I'm waving at you, Dan, from on the court.
I can see you. Nope. Turn around.
Wait,
up in Connor's hockey booth.
Whoa, you're up
right
there?
Right here. Yeah.
There you are.
We have some technical issues, but we got him fixed. So, all right, D-Mac. See you, buddy. There he goes. Darren McKee, great stuff as always. All right, KJ, let's go back out to the hotline and bring in Coach Sanford, who wants to weigh in on tonight's game. Coach, welcome to In the Paint, first-time caller. Thank you for calling in. Nuggets get the overtime victory. They're up 2-1 in the second round of the Western Conference playoffs. What'd you think of tonight's win?
Well, first off, Dontavion Tanner, as I like to call you. This is a long-time caller, first-time listener, but one of the more unlikely victories in the Nuggets season for sure. Let's just be really honest. How many people nationally gave the Nuggets a chance to win this game? How many people gave the Nuggets a chance to be up 2-1 at this phase of the series? Tonight was improbable. Michael Porter Jr. was incredibly improbable. Tonight was, frankly, miraculous. And I think that this is very significant type of a result for the Nuggets. But I'm just gonna throw something out there because I want the Nuggets to avoid any form of complacency. Game 4 is going to determine the series. Period. Point blank. End of story. Game 4 will be the determining factor for the series.
I agree, Mike. I do. The Nuggets, this team has been playing so much basketball. And honestly, I said this earlier, I was pretty surprised at the energy level and the effort level that they came out with in tonight's game, because they were flying all over the court. I mean, compared to game 2, Mike, their energy and effort was head and shoulders above where it was in game 2. So I'm with you, man. Game 4 is going to be massive. If the Nuggets can find a way to get that win, I mean, their chances of winning this series skyrocket. If they lose game 4, the pendulum swings back to Oklahoma City. But real quick, yeah, you said the national media, nobody picked them to win tonight. Dude, ESPN did a straw poll. All 9 of their experts all picked Oklahoma City. Now, your boy here, not to toot my own horn, Coach, but I did pick the Nuggets to win this series before the series started, and my reasoning for that was because of the Nuggets' experience, and in turn, the lack of experience from the Oklahoma City Thunder. Coach, I've seen this team, the Nuggets, have to go through the growing pains year after year after year, and it finally culminated in a championship. And when I look at a team like Oklahoma City, I just say to myself, they haven't gone through the turmoil just quite enough yet. So I would be curious from your coaching perspective, like, how long do you think it takes to build those calluses, those playoff calluses, before you're ready to truly compete in a postseason like this?
Well, unfortunately for the franchise of Oklahoma City, some of those players never have gotten over the hump. Look at James Harden. That's a reality, right? So it's not so simple as you go through it 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years, and all of a sudden you're ready to go win a championship. What I would say right now with Oklahoma City is that just take them as deep as you can and as long as you can into the fourth quarter. And I like the Nuggets. I do. I just keep saying it. And I was the same space. I said Nuggets in 6. People thought I was nuts. People, you called Nuggets in 6 too. I really feel that way because I don't. If I'm an Oklahoma City Thunder fan, how fearful am I right now in this series if you go into the fourth quarter and this game is inside of 10 points? 2 of the 3 games, the Nuggets win inside of 10 points. It's a nightmare scenario.
Absolutely. I mean, just look at tonight's game. You know, this was a really tight game, and the Nuggets late in this game, and especially in overtime, Coach, they were no hesitation. I mean, the 3 Michael Porter Jr. hit in overtime, dude, I was standing up here clapping just for the simple fact that there was no hesitation on that shot. And I beg Michael to not hesitate when he's shooting the basketball, because he does have a tendency to do that from time to time. But the Thunder in games 1 and tonight in game 3, when it's a close game and it's coming down to the wire, they tighten up and the Nuggets act like, oh, this is no big deal. We've been through this 1,000 times. We know how to get it done. That's what it looked like to me tonight, Coach.
DT, I cannot say this enough. For the average Nuggets fan that has been very critical of Michael Porter Jr., I understand it. I truly understand it. You know what tonight was? Tonight was a statue game for MPJ. And I think that Michael Porter Jr. is going to end up being a type of player that is going to have he is going to have the respect of the Nuggets fan base for generations to come. He should not have been performing at the level he is tonight. He should not have been plus 34, plus 24 in 2 of the games in the winning moments of the Clippers series when he was totally banged up. He is doing the things that a lot of people don't think that he should even be on the floor to do. It's because he truly is a dude. Like, I'm a football guy, DT. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
I love guys that will push through. I didn't think Michael Porter Jr. had it in him. He has it in him. He is a dog. That guy has earned the respect of – he should have earned the respect of every Nuggets fan from here to the end of time, because what he's done in this postseason so far this year with injuries, and the guy is a true dog, and he is committed to his craft.
Coach, I couldn't agree with you more. And KJ and I were talking about that earlier in the show. I've never called Michael soft, but, there's been a narrative surrounding him that when things get physical, he tends to shrink. And look, there's some validity to that because in past playoff series against physical teams, Michael has struggled. And when they played the Lakers, who are not a physical basketball team, he thrives in those environments. So I understand why some of the fan base might have that inclination of that about MPJ. But you're right, man. Like, if there were any doubts about what's in that dude's heart and the toughness that's inside of him, there are all of those questions have been answered during these playoffs. Mike, he shouldn't even be out there playing right now. I mean, he literally said after Game 3 against the Clippers that this is a 5 to 6 week recovery. His shoulder's 20 to 30%. He can't lift his shoulder above his head. I mean, in basketball, I don't know if everyone listening knows this, but in basketball, you have to lift your hands above your head quite often. So
for sure,
he's one-handing rebounds. He's diving for loose balls. Like it is very impressive, Coach.
Especially with him, because he is a player that uses his length, his shooting. So you're exactly right. He should not be out there. He shouldn't be out there because of drop foot and a back injury. Oh, by the way, he's got a shoulder injury that is restricting his left shoulder from raising above like 90 degrees. That's insane. I think that Michael Porter Jr., he has earned this postseason, he has earned the title of he is a Denver Nugget from time to like. I know a lot of people say get him out of there. People wanted him to get subbed out after the first 3 minutes. We had that conversation. You guys had it on PHC today, did you not? Right?
Yeah,
we
did.
all had the conversation.
Yeah.
And I think he is a major reason that you won this series. You won this game tonight in this series. I'm so impressed with him as a football guy. I can't say enough about Michael Porter Jr.
In a game where Joker goes 0 for 10 from 3, in a game where you had to have a guy like Michael Porter Jr. knock down some outside shots, and he comes through. And oh, by the way, Coach, you mentioned the back surgeries and the drop foot. Those are things earlier on in his career that he's had to overcome. He's also had, unfortunately, to no fault of his own, by the way, some unfortunate family stuff off the court that he's had to deal with over the course of his career too. So you got to factor that in as well as far as the mental toughness goes when things like that are involved. You're right, man. I think I think these playoffs have forever changed the narrative surrounding Michael Porter Jr., and it's just awesome to see.
It sure is. And you know what else? I'd say the narrative around the Denver Nuggets, this is a team that in its current form, you just look at the very essence of Michael Porter Jr., what's happened off the court. Aaron Gordon, his jersey number changed from 50 to 32, and we all know why.
Yeah.
That's real adversity. That is real things that he carries into the postseason. He carries into these games that he's playing. This Denver Nuggets team is carrying a lot of weight. It's carrying a lot of burdens, and I think it's beautiful. And I don't want to get overly emotional with it, but I know what it's like. I've been around it as a coach. When you carry incredible amounts of emotions into a game and you do it in a shared way, it has a chance to be very powerful. And that's why I think there's something very special that's happening in this 25 postseason for the Nuggets. And that's why I think it's very different even than the Avs, which on paper, the Colorado Avalanche should have been the team to be reckoned with in this postseason. But for some reason, these Denver Nuggets, with all odds against them, a lot of issues, no depth, injuries, banged up.
Head coach gets fired, GM gets fired 3 games before the regular season ends too. I mean,
and you're right here.
Unbelievable.
2-1 against one of the best teams in the history of the NBA in the regular season.
And great point about the AG stuff with his brother, that tragedy that happened last summer. You know, that's another great point. He's had to deal with a lot of adversity as well, and he's been easily their most clutch player in these playoffs. Aaron Gordon is, Adelman said it, Coach, he is the heart and soul of this team, and he really is, man. Like, that guy, this town freaking loves that dude, and rightfully so, because that dude just gives it his all. So Excellent stuff, Coach. Thanks so much for calling in, man. Are you driving home from the game, by the way? I can hear blinkers going on. It's not super loud. I'm just curious.
No, yeah, driving home with the wifey, and I'm on cloud nine. I really believe in this team. I don't know why. It's blind faith, I guess. Nobody thought that this team had a chance against OKC. But shared adversity is a powerful thing as a team, and I really believe in this team. I want to be there on Sunday. I want to be in the building, and I think it's going to be a Mother's Day to remember in Denver.
Awesome stuff, Coach. Get home safe, and thanks for calling in, bro.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
All right, there he goes. That is Coach Mike Sanford. Yeah, really cool stuff there. Cool to hear Mike's perspective. Obviously, college football coach. He's now the head coach at Valor, so congratulations to Mike. That was amazing. Just cool to hear his perspective on the adversity and the mental side of sports, which doesn't get talked about enough, but especially with this Nuggets team. The fact that they've dealt with their head coach getting fired, the GM gets fired 3 games before the end of the regular season, the off-court stuff with Michael and Aaron Gordon, not involving them, but their families, that they've had to deal with that. The adversity this team has gone through. Aaron Gordon dealing with his calf injury, having to manage that the entire season, and then coming into this postseason and playing the way he is just absolutely incredible. And this team has a chance on Sunday to put a statement into this series and go up 3-1. And I agree with Mike. Game 4 is massive. Now, look, I don't want to go as far as to say that if the Thunder do win Game 4 that the series is over, but the odds of the Nuggets winning this series, if it gets tied back up at 2, drop significantly. I still think they can do it, but that's going to be a really, really tough mountain to climb. And if they can get the win on Sunday, man, I mean, they are going to be right there. I mean, do you really think this Thunder team, inexperienced Thunder team, can beat the Denver Nuggets 3 times in a row? I don't know. That seems like a really tall order, even for the team that had the best regular season in the NBA. Again, I just keep going back to the experience factor. And that's why I picked the Nuggets to win this series in 6, and that's why Coach Sanford picked them to win this series in 6. All right, KJ, are we done with callers, or do we have any other callers on the line? I don't want to leave anybody hanging here.
Yeah, we got one more. We got Matt, man. Matt, thank you so much for waiting patiently, my friend, and appreciate you hanging out with us, man. What's on your mind, Matt?
Yeah, so this crossed my mind while watching tonight's game. I don't know if it's part of their game plan, but if it is, it could take out OKC. What if the Nuggets are trying to conserve energy but keep the game close? Because I noticed once it got to the end of the fourth quarter and into overtime, OKC completely ran out of gas because they go hard almost every play, while the Nuggets still had some left in them towards the end.
Okay, great point, Matt. Yeah, again, that's what experienced teams do. They know where to put. That's what, I will give LeBron credit for this later on in LeBron's career. And actually, you know what? Nikola Jokic does this too. And this didn't start this year. He's been doing this for a while. LeBron and Joker and some of the greats, they find spots when they're on the floor in games to rest. In fact, if you notice, sometimes when the Nuggets are shooting a free throw, they won't have Joker down by the basket. They'll put him back by the other basket. Why do they do that? To save a little extra pressure off of those knees on Nikola Jokic. It's little things like that experience can garner you. And the Nuggets have done that. Joker's really good at picking his spots of when to rest when he's on the floor, so that when they get into situations like tonight where you got to go to overtime, Matt's right. The Thunder did look gassed in overtime. I mean, they only scored 2 points, KJ. They scored 2 points in 5 minutes.
That's it?
You're telling me that team's not gassed?
They definitely were gassed.
And it was their first game in Denver at elevation, and I do think that plays a factor as well.
No, absolutely. And, a lot of teams experience that. You got a good push early, But then, as the game wanes, you begin to feel that pressure. You can feel the altitude literally weighing down on you. And if I'll be honest, Dan, I want to address something that you just did there. You have a very positive outlook on the Nuggets picking their spots. And I'm glad that you do, because I am going to take the contrarian take here. I think the Nuggets, and I really believe this in my heart, I think the Nuggets don't want to ever feel what they felt last year. So I think they'd rather put some in the reserve tank than ever go all out so much that they wonder, will they have enough, as Coach would always reference, for to swim back. And I think it's something that is psychologically built into them now that I don't think will ever leave this core for the rest of their time together.
And again, KG, those are lessons learned when you have an experienced team that has been through the rigors of postseason NBA basketball. Like that's exactly what I'm talking about, and you're right. This team, and we said it at the end of last season, the tank was empty. They didn't have enough gas in the tank to make the swim back. I love that analogy, by the way. That sounds like a Coach Sanford analogy.
It is the most Coach Sanford analogy ever.
But it's a great analogy, and he's right. And you're right, KJ. I really do think that they learned a valuable lesson in that Minnesota series last year of we've got to have enough gas in the tank in order to win these close games and not, fall apart at the end of games. And to our was it Matt that just called in?
Yep.
To Matt's credit, he's right too. The Thunder are a young, inexperienced team, and they were going all out the whole portion of the game, quarters 1 through 4, and they were just dead in overtime. And the Nuggets took advantage, and it was great to see. So, excellent stuff. What a win here tonight for Denver. Man, I got to tell you, KJ, the vibes for this post-game show, games 1 and 3 versus 2 are shockingly different, I will tell you, because game 2 was not a whole lot of fun to have to talk about that stinker for an hour, but
right.
It's games like these that make it all worth it. And KJ, I could just right before we get out of here, 2 things. Number 1, if you were in the arena tonight and you're driving home listening, the light show they put on here, that everybody's got the lights on their wrists. Now in round 1, it was just on like the rails on the stairs, and it looked awesome. But everybody was wearing them tonight, and I don't think they did that in round 1. Dude, they've got it synced to the music. They did this thing where it looked like the arena was waving, like you know what I mean? Like a wave. So that was really cool. And just the atmosphere in here tonight. I mean this when I say this. This might have been the loudest I've ever heard this building. And I went to the NBA Finals in 23 covering this team. And don't get me wrong, it was loud. It's always loud during the playoffs. But I don't know what it was. There was just an extra little bit of energy in this building tonight. And I credit Nuggets Nation because this team needed it. After game 2, I think that jacked this team up. And it showed through. So shout out to the crowd here at Ball Arena tonight. It was just absolutely spectacular. All right, that's going to do it for the post-game show tonight, everybody. The Nuggets get the win, 113-104 in overtime is your final. Game 4, right around the corner on Mother's Day, coming up on Sunday. It's a 1:30 p.m. start. Oh, God, I love that.
Me
that
too.
Is amazing.
Man,
Thank you, NBA.
You got to love an afternoon game. You got to love an afternoon game.
Oh, I love it. I'll actually get home before the sun's down. I mean, that is absolutely incredible. But it's not about me. It's not about you, KJ. It's about this Denver Nuggets team and what a win they had tonight. 113-104 is your final. That's going to do it for the postgame show, everybody. For KJ Granderson, for DMAC, for Coach Sanford, I'm Dan Tanner. We'll be back on Sunday right here on In the Paint on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5.